welcome to our channel. Today we are discuss resources and development. Resources and development. In any one developing or developed country are required to minimum amount of resources will be required. Minimum amount of resources, natural resources or management resources or technical knowledges or and experiences and over explanation or natural resources will be are required. Okay, example of Japan. Japan have natural resources is not more, it's not compared with southern Asia or India. Japan does not have more number of natural resources, so they are depend upon to in technical knowledges. They have fully depend upon to in technical knowledges. So here in our country have more number of natural resources will be available, then only we are developing and continues to our growth also. Here water, anything, what is a resources? Anything available to man can be used to fulfill man's need. Fulfill the man's need. Example of resources: water, soil, animals, plants, building, minerals, and etc. Especially here, why they are given to in water? Water is a major sources of in agriculture, major sources of in industry purposes, and etc. So water is also more natural resources also, and in soil and animals, plants, building, minerals, and etc. Okay, so they are given to one diagram: physical environment, technology, institution. Everything will be needed to human beings. Everything will be without a technology or without institution, without physical environment, human does not continuity. So all the resources will be supported to our humans. Supported to our humans. So here they are given to in classification of resources. Classification of resources. Resources have divided in natural and human. Natural and human. Natural resources will be divided by renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Renewable energy and non-renewable energy. And human resources will be divided into structures and institution and quantity and quality. Quantity and quality. Okay. Next, renewable energy is also divided in continuous or flow. Example of wind and water. And biological. Biological is a natural vegetation, forest and wildlife. And non-renewable energy will be divided in recyclable, example of in metals, non-recyclable, fossil oils. Very important. Resources have divided in two types. One is a natural and human. Natural is also in subdivision in renewable and non-renewable. And renewable will be divided in continuous or flow. Example of in wind, water, and biological. And biological is also divided in natural vegetation. Example of in forest, and next is in wildlife. Non-renewable energy will be divided in recyclable, example of in metals, and non-recyclable fossil fuels. Okay. Human being will be divided in structure and institution and quantity and quality. Quantity and quality. So they are given in classification of resources on the basis of origin. On the basis of origin, biotic resources and abiotic resources. Biotic resources and abiotic resources. Resources acquired from nature. Resources acquired from nature is a biotic resources. Example of human, plants and animals. Human, plants and animals. Abiotic resources. Example of stones, mountain. Non-living things. Non-living things is called as a abiotic resources, and living things is called as a biotic resources. Okay. Next is on the basis of accessibility. Okay, renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources is example to water and air. Non-renewable resources, coal and fossil fuels. Here, first of all, we understand about in resources. What do you mean by in resources, and what do you mean the classification of in resources? And next is find the classification of resources on the basis of origins, basis of accessibility, and the basis of ownership, and the basis of status of development. Ocean is also one of the in resources. Ocean is also in one of the resources value national. First here we had discussed with the non-renewable resources, and another one is saying on the basis of ownership. On the basis of the ownership, individual resources ownership under private hands are called individual resources. Example, plots, houses under private hand. Public resources common in nature are called public resources. Type of public resources, community owned resources and national resources. There are resources which are accessible to all the members of community are called community owners resources. Next is a village. Example of community owned resources: village common, crossing ground, burial ground, village ponds. National resources, human resources owned by nation are called national resources. All the minerals, water resources, forest, wildlife, land with the political boundaries and oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles. So very important one mark also. Oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles is one of the resources of by nation from the coast termed as territorial water, and the resources are there belongs to the nation. International resources, no man's land and free zone is the world that belongs to international resources. Beyond 200 nautical miles of the exclusive economic zones belonging to open ocean, and no individual country can utilize it without the concurrence of international institution. Above, beyond 200 nautical miles only for in exclusive economic zones. Okay. On the basis of status of development, potential resources and developed resources, stock resources, reserves and etc. Okay. Very depth one. It can be very useful for in future studies like UPSC and civil service examinations. The time for definitely they are required to in. What do you mean by in? What do you are thinking about in resources? How we can in identification, and what is the meaning of in natural and biotic and more number of resources. How will be in continuity and enhances to resources value. Very important. And here they are given to river water can be used for generating hydroelectricity and utilized only to in limited extents. They are given some dams, forest and reserve will be discussed there. Okay. Sustainable developments. India has got the right to mine manganese nodules from the bed of Indian Ocean, from that area which lies beyond the exclusive economic zones. Identifying resources, evolving planning structure, match plan with the development. Plains, so they are given to in land resources. Land is a finite resources. It covers only 29% of Earth's surface. About 90% of human beings inhabit only 5% of world's land. 90% of human being inhabit only 5% of world's land. Here, land utilization. Land uses depend upon to quality, needs, technological level of the society. Land resources are used for the following purposes: forest, land not available for cultivation, and other uncultivated land, fallow land, not sown area. Land use pattern in India: physical factor and human factor. Physical factor will be divided in topography, soil types, climate, and human factors will be available in population density, technological capacity, culture and traditions. Land use patterns in India. So they are given to one diagrams. General land use categories: forest, barren and uncultivated wasteland area and non-agriculture uses and etc. General land use categories: cultivable wasteland, follow other than the current flow net zone area. Land degradation, a major problem. Human factor, natural factor. Human factor have consider about construction activities, industrial development, transportation activities, urban development. And other one, natural factors. It is depend upon the floods, natural disasters, floods, landslides, mining activities, overgrazing by animals, and water lacking. Conservation measures for land degradation: afforestation, planting of shelter belts of plants, control on overgrazing, stabilization of sand dunes by crowing through process. Next is soil. Before that we discuss it in land as a resources. Here we discuss about in soil as a source. It is a depend upon in climate, relief, nature, parent rock, time, change in temperature, actions of running water, wind and glacier. Classification of soil and the basis of color, thickness, age, chemical and physical properties. Types of soil: alluvial soil, black soil, laterite soil, arid soil, red and yellow soil, mountain soil or forest soil. Here they are given to in soil report in one mapping system. Major soil types: forest and mountain 1, the next to alluvial and red and yellow, black and laterite, arid. Very important for in soil. Even in Jammu Kashmir and nearest Punjab, Haryana have consist of in forest and mountains. Alluvial in Maharashtra area, Madhya Pradesh area are available in alluvials. Red and yellow, more number of in South India and Eastern India consist of in red and yellow water, red and yellow soils. Black soils is nearest in half of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and within Maharashtra have and consist of in black soil and arid soils is also available in some states. Type of soil erosion: sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, wind erosion. Okay, thank you. Once more time revises to resources and development. Resources can consist of a natural, human resources and etc. and basis of in ownership, basis of in soil, and basis of in water resources, and more number of resources are discussed here. Thanks for watching the